Hello and welcome to another episode of Raman Reasons. The Lord's Test is over. What an enthralling test match it was. Before I get into the details of the Lord's Test match, I'd like to request the first time visitors to this channel to subscribe to the channel, and also for the people who've been visiting frequently to press the like button and also pass the word around about the content that is put out on this channel. It'll be of great help, I guarantee you. Now let's look at what happened at Lord's. Rather uncanny, isn't it? Two sides ending with identical scores at the end of the first innings. Both India and England got 387 in the first innings, and so it was always going to be a second innings game. The second innings started with a lot of drama when England had to bat out 2 overs, and the Indian team was not happy with the delaying tactics employed by Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett. Zach Crawley obviously is looking to regain some form, and he did what any other opener would have done given the circumstances. Why play 2 overs when you can try and do away with the second over if you can delay and waste some time? These delaying tactics are generally employed just about in every game at every level and at every opportunity possible. Of course, Shubman Gill was not delighted with it, nor were the others in the team. There were a few words exchanged. There's no harm in indulging in sledging, but what is critical is that sledging should not affect one's own cricket. It's easy to sledge, but it can also affect your own cricket at times. And as long as the person sledging does not get affected by all the unnecessary exchange of words on the field, then it's all right. But if it's going to affect him, then he's got to try and restrain and refrain getting involved in a sledging duel. But let's get back to cricket. It was absorbing in the sense that England were aware of the fact that they had to bat really well in the second innings, and they once again tried to grind it out, but the Indian bowlers kept chipping away at the wickets, and the Indian side were very aware of the fact that chasing was going to be tough, so they were giving it all, and the bowlers were rotated well by Shubman Gill, I thought, and Washington Sundar did the star turn for them. And it was a delight to see a spinner run through the England middle order. And for one, was very surprised at the approach from the England batters after tea on day 4. Perhaps they thought they needed to hustle a little bit and try and get a few runs quickly and set a reasonable target for the Indians. But in trying to do so, Ben Stokes got out rather quickly after tea, and then it was a kind of a collapse as far as England were concerned. So the Indians would have been absolutely delighted once they bowled England out for 192, which meant that they had a target of 193 to win the test and go 2-1 up in the series. But the evening on the fourth day turned out to be England's, because they bowled with a lot of purpose, a lot of discipline, and they also had specific plans because they're bowling tighter lines, they're bowling straighter lines, and also they were making the ball jag around a little bit. All the fast bowlers were very disciplined, and it was Cars who set the cat among the pigeons when he picked up a couple of wickets. He trapped Karun Nair, who offered no shot, which I thought was an absolute lapse in concentration. And then the biggie of Shubman Gill was also snapped up by Bryden Cars. And the night watchman, Akashdeep, also tried to get into a bit of a duel verbally, but he perished towards the closing moments of the game. In fact, as soon as he got out, it was stumps. And so day 5 was always going to be enthralling. A lot depended on how Rishabh Pant went about his innings, because in a tight situation, any side would want a player like Rishabh Pant to fire, so that the pressure is put on the opposition and the tables are turned. And so there were a lot of expectations on day 5. What happened on day five from England captain was against the grain because his move to start with himself and Geoffrey Archer was looked with some kind of surprise because Bryden Cars was the star in the fourth inning, so they expected Bryden Cars to start the proceedings on the fifth morning along with Ben Stokes. But I think Ben Stokes' logic was that Geoffrey Archer is his main strike bowler and he can perhaps afford to go for a few runs in trying to price out a couple of early wickets on the fifth morning. And so he made a call of starting with Geoffrey Archer on the fifth morning. What a move it turned out to be because Geoffrey Archer picked up the big wicket of Rishabh Pant quickly, and then he also picked up the wicket of Washington Sundar with a fantastic catch of his own bowling. I think those two wickets set India back. Jadeja is capable of getting runs under pressure, and he's done it on numerous occasions, especially when playing in the Sena countries. And once again, he set about consolidating innings and playing a fighting knock. He had a bit of a partnership along with Nitish Kumar Reddy, but I felt that particular partnership was a tad slow because they were more keen on trying to grind out the attack and play out time. But in trying to do so, they missed out on opportunities to score runs, which meant that whenever a wicket fell, it was going to really set India back badly. Because unless and until the runs were scored, there's not going to be any pressure on the England bowlers. And this suited the England bowlers as well because they were very sure that the Indian batters were only looking to play out time and take things nice and easy and also rather slowly. So it was very obvious as far as what India were trying to do, and the England bowlers capitalized on it because they quickly ran through the overs, kept the pressure on, and kept chipping away at wickets. When Nitish Kumar Reddy got out after lunch, it was going to be always difficult, but still Bumrah hung in there along with Jadeja. And even during that partnership, Bumrah was defending solidly enough to provide Jadeja the confidence of picking the runs as and when he played the ball into the deep, but he decided not to. And in the end, it was a bit too much. And Siraj, even though he tried to be defiant, was unfortunate to be bowled of the off spinner. The ball just ricocheting off the ground and going on to dislodge the bail. That was a sad dismissal, and Siraj was distraught because he was trying very hard to provide enough support for Jadeja, and there was a lot of hope as they kept gathering runs here and there. But in the end, Jadeja remained unbeaten, and England go up 2-1 in the series. Now, as far as India is concerned, I think they allowed England to get away with the mistakes they made in their second innings. By that I mean they were in a hurry, they lost wickets quickly by playing hasty shots, but still India could not chase the target down of 193 because one was that they were a bit too cautious, and two was that the top order batters did not really resist enough on the fourth evening. All these factors put together provided England the opportunities to try and gain the upper hand, and England tactically were once again very good on the final day. And whenever their plans work, England are always a good side. It's only when things don't go according to plan we see Ben Stokes allowing the game to drift at times. But on day five at Lords, he did not have any occasion to do so because even though there was some resistance from the Indian batters, they were not really posing problems for either Ben Stokes' tactics or to the English bowlers. So, a well fought test match came to an end, but it was England which emerged the victor, and full credit to them because they went very hard at the Indians, defending a reasonable total. But it has to be said that the surface at Lords is always going to be tricky for the side chasing a target in the fourth innings. Bad luck, India. So it's time to try and take a bit of a break, reflect, prepare for the next test match and come back stronger at Manchester. The Indian boys have done it once when they lost the first test and came back to win the second test. So they would be hoping that they can do an encore at Manchester. So it'll be interesting to see the tactics of India. Will they continue to play Bumrah at Manchester? Will they give him rest? Or what is it that they will look to do with the batting order? Will they make a change in the batting order? There are a lot of questions that India needs to answer by the time they get to Manchester, and they also have to make a lot of decisions once they get to Manchester and have a look at the pitch. But it's all for the Indian team management to solve. In the meanwhile, we will try and look at how the girls get along in the ODIs because they're playing a ODI series starting on the 16th. We'll back those girls because they've done well in England uh, because they won the T20 series by a margin of 3-2, and they'll be hoping to try and win the series in England in the 50 over format as well. I will obviously be following all these events closely and perhaps put out a video at the end of the ODI series in the women's category. And until then, I'll like to do the same as I do when I sign off, that is to tell you to be good and stay safe.